beside these exceptional individuals. While some may deem them as eccentric ones, we recognize their brilliance, because those who possess the audacity to believe they can end human trafficking are the ones who ultimately achieve it. Here's to the fearless advocates who dare to be different, the relentless fighters, the champions against human trafficking, the unsung heroes in the shadows. They are the ones who perceive the world through a different lens. They reject the confines of societal norms and regulations. They challenge the status quo with unwavering determination. Their voices may be quoted, opinions disputed, and their character both praised and criticized. But one thing is certain, they cannot be overlooked. They are catalysts for change. They pioneer new solutions. They envision a world free from the clutches of human trafficking. They mend broken lives. They embark on perilous journeys to rescue the vulnerable. They innovate, they inspire, they propel humanity forward. Perhaps it takes a touch of madness. How else can one look at a victim and envision their liberation, or listen to the silence of suffering and compose an anthem of hope, or gaze upon a dark underworld and see a battleground for justice? We stand beside these exceptional individuals. While some may deem them as eccentric ones, we recognize their brilliance, because those who possess the audacity to believe they can end human trafficking are the ones who ultimately achieve it.
Okay, guys, how exciting is it that we are back together again for another PBJ Learning Prevention Cohort live meeting? Here we go. We have the next hour to spend together, and I put together a couple of things I thought y'all might be you might enjoy. So last week, the state of Texas decided that it was going to pass the law saying that the rideshare drivers need to let's see. So rideshare drivers have to have a new human trafficking class before they can become a driver and use their systems. Excuse me so much. So let's talk a little bit about this. So, new Texas law to require human trafficking training for rideshare drivers. The training will explain how to recognize signs of human trafficking and how to report and respond to suspected instances. I'll read a little bit more. Human trafficking is a major problem facing Texas. The state has the second most cases reported in the nation. But a new law is set to go into effect in September that seeks to better educate residents on the issue. House Bill 2313 was passed in the 88th regular legislative session. It requires drivers for, quote, transportation network companies, which it would be Lyft or Uber, and there's a few other ones here in town, to participate in training regarding human trafficking awareness and prevention. So it talks a little bit about the size and scope of the issue. According to an analysis by career resources site Zippia, between Lyft and Uber, there are over 1.7 million people driving for rideshare companies, and 36% of Americans have used rideshare services. Prior to the introduction of HB 2313, both Uber and Lyft have published their own anti-human trafficking measures. Both companies posted online resources and hotline numbers for drivers to learn preventative steps to combat human trafficking. Now, HB 2313 will require these rideshare companies to institute a mandatory 15-minute training for drivers. And this is what we're here to talk about today. The training must include descriptions of how and why human trafficking takes place in the transportation industry, etc., etc. Texas is not the first U.S. state to require this for rideshare drivers. In Washington State, King County Council enacted similar legislation in 2019 for people that have to receive sex trafficking awareness training. This is weird. Why is there sex trafficking? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So this talks a lot about this stuff, and I highly recommend that you take a look at it. I'm going to post it in the chat so we can actually get a link to this article. And what we're going to do today is we're going to take a look at what it is that I've been working on. So we had previously made a course for the state of Texas called the Texas Hospitality Industry Awareness Course, and it's based on Texas House Bill 390. So we got that done. We got it approved by the state of Texas, and it has 3 basic chapters. It does defining human trafficking, so teaching what human trafficking is, identifying human trafficking, how to recognize it, and responding to human trafficking, what to do. So this is essentially the same structure of the course that we're going to be making for the Texas Rideshare drivers. So we basically took this. It's already been approved by the state of Texas. So we started with this, and we have been working on adding all of the missing bits and pieces to it. So this is our current version of the Texas Transportation Network Company course, which is the rideshare drivers. So you can look. I think I can I flip these 2 things so you can see both. I'm on Windows 11, so they have all these interesting little things you can plug in. All right, cool. So you can see that over here we have welcome to the Texas Hospitality Industry Awareness Course, and on this side we have welcome to the Texas Transportation Network Company thing. So we always start off with a welcome video. The video has not been rewritten yet, but that's where it's going to be. Then we always begin a course with a pre-course assessment to have an idea of exactly where you are right now in your understanding of the topic of human trafficking. We want to make sure that everybody has the chance to show that they made some progress, so you'll get a grade at the beginning. Then the next thing we do is we start chapter 1. All of our chapters start with an overview, and I'll show you what the overview does is it shows you three different ways what it is you're going to learn. So we talk about the content, we talk about the learning objectives, so the things that have to be included that you're going to have basically put in your brain and be able to do, and then we have our assessments broken down into questions, and so these are the questions that are going to use these learning objectives with these contents. And so then each of the lessons afterwards breaks down these things a little bit further. So in the first chapter, we start off with defining the crime. So we start off talking about what is actually human trafficking. So again, this is still the video is still from the hospitality course. All over here. So we'll look at the transportation course. So here we are. This on the left is the hospitality course. On the right is the transportation course. Yeah, there we go. So on the hospitality course, we have it written out in English, and we're going to have a Spanish version as well, so that every one of these videos will have it in English subtitle version at the bottom. Not English subtitles, excuse me, but English notes and Spanish notes. We'll also do all of the videos in English and Spanish. But this is basically how things get done, and so kind of wanted to just show you that what we were doing is we were taking the course that was already approved and looking at all of the exact same things that are there, and we're going to customize all of this material to make it relevant to the transportation industry. Anyway, that's sort of just a look at it, and I thought you might get a kick out of it. I think I'll show you a little bit about. Yeah, let me show you a little behind the scenes here. So we use this program. So I use our website is built on WordPress, so it's a WordPress site, and then we use a system called Elementor, which is the way that all of the blocks and everything get put together. So it's sort of theme. So and that can be customized heavily. But Elementor allows us to turn pages into LearnDash lessons, which get built into courses. And so I'll kind of give you an idea of how this works. So you have an overview. I think the camera's working. So yeah, there we are. So you can't. All right. I see. So I must be on somewhere. Great. Okay. Sorry. So the way this works is you have this concept of a course, and the course is made up of smaller bits and pieces, and those are made up of lessons. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the course itself here, so the Texas Transportation Network Company course, and it's going to open up the layout and how it connects all the little bits and pieces together. So it's sort of like a skeleton or an outline. So you have a main area here. That's the main course page. This is the stuff that's going to go into the Salesforce, excuse me. It's going to go onto the web page itself. This thing called the builder is the order in which all of your lessons are put together for you. So again, we start with the welcome video, then a pre-course assessment, etc. And each of these different pieces, so these are, the course is made up of lessons. Each of these lessons is made up of different ingredients. So it starts off kind of like a web page. So we will go to lesson, pick one. I think I'll pick the video. So each of these lessons are assigned to these different courses. So it starts to get kind of complicated, but it's really not that bad. All right, we'll do. All right. So this is the first video lesson. So like when you go through the course, you'll get the outline, you get the pre-course assessment, pre-course assessment, then the outline, and then you get dropped into this page. So this is a lesson. The lesson is essentially just a web page. So we edit everything with this thing called Elementor, so it looks all pretty and all that good stuff. So Elementor is going to open up the page, and inside the page is going to be the ingredients, and one of the ingredients is going to be a video. So there's our video. We'll start playing. So the first thing that you know about using using anything in WordPress is you build a page, and so you have all these little chunks, bits and pieces. So you have your heading up here, your title of your page goes up here. Then underneath it we have some text letting people know that, hey, we're here, we're paying attention, we want to give you some encouragement. And then we have the next piece here, which is video, and it pulls it off of our server. And then underneath it, we have some notes that I want to make sure that we incorporate whenever we get time to go through and do this stuff. So these are the things that were included that we want to make sure are absolutely in here, specifically towards the transportation industry. So I have a whole different document that I keep track of that has all the scripts in it, the video scripts. And then we're going to record all of those things, and then I'm going to lay them in and put them up on our server and all that good stuff. And let's see, maybe it'd be fun to, let's see. Yeah, so I think you can see this. This is the, so you're on this whole thing. So these are all the videos that we're going to do. So you're going to have one that's going to be called How to Interact with the Victim. This here, as an employee or manager, that is something that came out of the hospitality industry, so that's going to get renamed. But these are all the files that go along with it. And so I'll go ahead and just open this one up. So we use Premiere is our video editor. So I can open up the open up the video here. You can see I still haven't even renamed the video yet. On my list of things to do. But while Premiere opens, I'll let you know that this is a labor of love to make this work. Dave and I are extremely excited about this. As a person that lives in Texas, I'm very excited about having the opportunity to serve more of our Texas citizens and friends here and help protect some people. I'm really excited about getting the chance to work with the Texas Attorney General on this to make sure that we're providing the absolute best material. We also take this very seriously in that we want to. Premiere is taking its time. Oh, I see. It's asking me about some questions. So excuse me for just 1 second. But yeah, so we are going to go through each one of these videos, customize everything, Then we're going to record it. Then we're going to get into Premiere and do all the layouts to make sure that everything looks cool and looks exciting and new. So this kind of, all right, here we go. Man, maybe I shouldn't have 8,000 tabs open in all my browser windows. All right, we're gonna hold off on opening up Premiere because that's just going to take too long. Anyway, this kind of shows you a little bit about what it is that we're doing right now, and I wanted to have the opportunity to share it with you because this is really big stuff. Being able to offer an important course like this, to be one of the very first ones in the United States, I'm really excited about being at the cutting edge of this. We are, let's see, about 30 minutes left to our show today, and we might, I don't know if we're going to cut it a little close, but I have one other thing I want to show you. I think we'll go through an article. Oh, Premiere is just dragging my machine down. Okay. So what I want to do, excuse me, what I'd like to do is take a few minutes to give you an understanding of how our one generation system works. It's the name of our complete human trafficking prevention program, where we have our VR application and our online course. So we call it all one generation. The idea is we're trying to teach everybody in one generation. Let me go ahead and share my screen with you, and I'll do a little reading. So we, Radical Empathy, use a virtual reality headset simulation to put people in the shoes of a young victim so you can understand how you can be psychologically manipulated into becoming a victim of trafficking through coercion and trickery. So when we start working with people, one of the things that's difficult is that, well, it's in virtual reality, so you can't really just look at it. You have to have a headset. So we have to talk to people and get them to understand that this is a completely different way of doing education. You're putting the power of the training in the hands of the person that's actually getting taught. So they're going to get to decide what they learn through the app itself. It's a different way of thinking about learning, and it's confusing to a lot of people, and there's no big deal. It's just that's how it is. So it's newer technology, and we are totally ready to answer all of the questions you have. I promise you that purchasing and using these VR headsets is easier than you think. You do not need to be afraid of this. We're going to help you every step of the way. So I'm really asking out here, hey, future one generation licensee, we are excited to have you here. We want to make sure that you understand this because this is a potentially confusing, because it's all not just a technology jump that you're having to make, but it's also about making sure that the parents of the students that you're teaching or your population actually understand what human trafficking is. So let me make sure you know you can always just call me, text me anytime. It doesn't make any difference. There are no bad questions. This is all brand new stuff to most people. So in short, what you're going to get is a complete system to educate your community or your group about human trafficking and any of its associated issues, from the definition to proper responses. What you're getting is a VR application that not only has been built with the assistance of survivors and people with lived experience and experts in the field, but it's also continually updated by those same people and new people over the years. We've had almost 10,000 users at this point. We have been getting feedback forever, and we have new versions, updated versions of the VR coming out soon. Not only do you get the VR app, but you also get our online course, Human Trafficking Essentials. So your trainee or your trainers, the people that are actually using the headset, we recommend that they take our online course and master it. So once they've mastered that, then you know that they understand human trafficking well enough to be able to be in a room educating people with this materials. So excuse me. Also, you are going to get unbelievable support from other users. Not only are you going to be getting, videos and ideas coming through your newsletters that you get weekly, but you also get access to and get welcome to the cohort. Excuse me, the prevention cohort live. This video podcast that happens every week. So you'll get access to the worldwide team of educators and experts. You'll get support and ideas of how to use the app to train, how people are using it in their community. You'll get the podcast. And also, you're going to get to participate in discussions of future products. And if you're interested, you can actually get on board with us and help change the way that the trajectory of our company is moving. We're doing our what is it called? The Rideshare Training course right now. And if you had experience in that, I would love to have you take a look at it and tell us what we're missing. We can't catch everything. We do have experts that we work with, but sometimes you might have an idea that would change the way that everybody feels about this. And so we want you to tell us what you think. Not only are you getting all of that, but you're also getting access to one of the most amazing resources that I know of in the human trafficking field, which is the Knowledge Vault from PBJ Learning. It's right here. There are over 5,000 articles that have been hand curated by me. There are videos, printable materials. I mean, everything that you can imagine is really up in there. It's all cross-categorized and tagged. It's really something else. I can't tell you enough about it. So I want to tell you some of the problems that you have when you're trying to teach somebody about human trafficking. And I've been to over 200 courses so far, webinars, events. I mean, I've met with tons of people, and there's a number of things, these patterns that develop. The first pattern that I really noticed was that people need to have an emotional attachment to this topic. And by that I mean people tend to feel like it's not real until it hits home. And then once they understand it from an emotional point of view, then they start realizing that, oh man, this really is real and I need to pay attention to it and I need to watch out. So what my partner Dave came to was that he realized that he had all this educational material, but he didn't have any empathy. So he always had to build empathy by inviting a survivor to come to do a talk or put a video up or something like that. And he believes that our VR app makes that connection, and I believe that that's true. I've watched thousands of people go through the experience, and when they feel like they connected with Lisa, our main character, in a profound way, then they actually start caring about the material and they're more interested in learning. So we found that this is really important. So the big thing is, like, how do you make that empathetic connection to make people want to learn something? The second thing is, it's really about just education itself. There's a hurdle that most people probably would have never thought of. I know I never thought about it, but my partner Dave, he did this capstone project to get his doctorate in education about this. And so what he did was he did this capstone project, and I'll actually open it up right here so you can see it. But it's about higher education and human trafficking education. So it's like, how much are they actually putting into to higher education? And the answer, unfortunately, is that the people that are it suggests, here we go, faculty members may be a main reason why students are underinformed about human trafficking. The researchers' findings indicate instructors could only partially define the crime. They only discussed it in class on a limited basis, used textbooks and other materials that included a limited amount of content, and believed that the administration should be involved to help increase the amount of human trafficking content. So instead of doing it themselves, they actually think it should be somebody else telling them what to do. And the main problem that they were having, and this is Dave's explanation to me, is that they're afraid that if they don't know the answer to every question, that they shouldn't be teaching it. And so that's not really good. And so that is a significant problem. So they report they're concerned, they don't understand the topic well enough, so they're afraid to bring it up in case they can't answer a question. So what we did to try to first to deal with the empathy, we built the VR product to deal with this education issue and teachers being afraid to talk about it. We made sure that our online course requires zero knowledge by a teacher. A teacher really does not have to know anything about it to be able to assign this education, be able to assign the course. You can literally just get the email and it'll tell you what that person scored. The course and all of the online materials contain enough information so that if you find out that you may need help, the course will help you get that help yourself. The teacher doesn't even need to know this stuff. So we're trying to knock these hurdles out of the way for you. A third problem that we have is just getting the material approved by the community. As you probably imagine, when people think about human trafficking, they think about sex trafficking, which of course includes sex, and people seem to have a problem talking to their children about sex or having schools talk to their kids about sex. So this is no exception. But I want to make sure that you understand that our materials are reviewed and improved and approved by hundreds of subject matter experts. We take all the tips from the biggest nonprofits in the field. I read articles constantly. I am up on the best newest materials. And you are going to be teaching the fundamentals of human trafficking that everyone needs to understand. And so your job is going to be to help a parent decide if they want these materials to be taught to their children. So what we can do is we already have a video of the app. We have the script. And if you want to, we can go through the online course together so that you can review it with me. Our job is to make sure that you have the tools to be successful. So that's the basic challenge is these three hurdles, which are major hurdles, but we're going to help you jump past them. And then the last thing I wanted to share with you is the VR itself. It takes about 15 minutes to complete. We've got a full playthrough and a video at the bottom of this page that I'm about to click over to. So this talks about Trapped. This gives some testimonials of people that use it. It talks about how they use it. This talks about some of the topics that are inside of the application itself. Then you can watch the video of it, and then there's an interactive script as well that's here. So we're trying to provide you everything that you need to be successful. So when you become a licensee, you can use the software on as many VR headsets as you want at any time. It gives you all sorts of creativity. If you look here on this picture, you can see that the University of North Texas Health Science Center, they had a classroom filled with kids, and I don't think you can see them all, but there were 38 headsets being used at one time because we wanted to get these kids through this experience. So it's up to you. You have we'll be wearing the ruby slippers. You can make the decisions that are best for you. We have an article here that includes the details of how to buy headsets. Our big thing is that we just need to get this thing on your head. How do we get you a VR headset so you can give it a try? If you've already got a Quest headset that you own, I can help you get it installed on it. Or if you need us to send you a box, we can do that as well. All you got to do is book a time to connect. I'm ready. I'm ready to do this. I'm ready to send you a box and get you started. All you got to do is click, I want an Appleseed box. Get you started. Okay. I think that's all we're going to do today. Really, really appreciate your time. If you have any questions, let me know. Hopefully next week we will report that we've got the transportation course sent in. I'm really excited about that, and I hope I can actually say that next week. So there you go. Be good, be yourself, be good to everybody.